So I'm talking compromise today. And I don't mean compromise on your person. Don't compromise on your person. Decide you're marrying the right person. Don't compromise on that. There's things you need to compromise on, but one of them isn't that. Just so we're clear. But as a lot of you are finding out over the course of planning a wedding or planning a ceremony of any sort, really, people have their opinions. Sometimes it brings out the best in people, sometimes it doesn't. And at some point, compromise will need to happen. Now, there's a couple of schools of thought on this. There is the your day, your way, no need to compromise. There is the, is it patriarchy? What is it when you're kind of brought up in that? Yeah, I suppose it's patriarchy. Of doing your duty. And there's the compromise of yourself, like your self-belief with that intruder syndrome, with that person, that's your worst self going, oh, really? In your ear. So there is compromise all the time, externally, internally, within the family, within relationships, within yourself. It's going to happen. So I kind of wanted to just get you guys thinking about your values and what it is that you want from compromising. For me, compromise is about finding balance. I do struggle with pushing what I want to the front. If it's for some, not in the wedding planning, because I'm here to serve and I'll get you what you want, or ceremony planning of any sort, but kind of sticking to your guns and going, no, I really want this and I don't want to compromise on that. Why don't you want to compromise on it? What's bigger than your motivation to compromise or not to compromise? And actually, sometimes the bigger thing that you're not actually doing is having self-trust, or the bigger thing you're not actually doing is trusting others. And both of those come down to love, whether it's love for yourself or love for family, and trusting them. And it's really hard because planning can bring out the good side and the bad side in people. So if you're trying to plan a ceremony, I do a few, probably a handful, 5 or so a year, that the couple are just over compromising. They don't want to do it. It's either their second marriage or they've been together for so many years and had the kids but never got round to getting married or having a wedding. And by the time they do, they're like, do you know what, it's no one else's opinion. We are doing this because we genuinely want to stand up in front of everyone and declare our love for each other and what makes us tick. And you're invited to share the joy. And that's a certain stance. And it's very empowering. It's very inspiring. And people mostly react really nicely to it. The ones that don't react nicely to it are the ones who would have caused issues had they not done it in secret, or had they, hi Melanie, lovely to see you, thanks for joining, had they known about it, they would have put their tuppence worth. So that, I find that very inspiring. I find it quite nerve-wracking. So if it was for me to, so the ones that I've done 2020 didn't happen, 2019, we did 3 surprise weddings, and all 3 of them were 40th birthday parties. So the invites have gone out, said, dress your best, 40th birthday party, think Henley or think races or whatever it was that they put on their invite, various invites for various different things. And then they came to the venue, had pre-ceremony drinks, but they didn't know it's pre-ceremony drinks. They were just having drinks. And then they came into the orangery or wherever it was that we were having that wedding. And it's kind of me standing at the top like, surprise. And they are amazing, incredible. And there's been no politics because they haven't had to compromise. On the flip side, if you do want to share and do want to get people involved, the fact that you're sharing and getting people involved means people get involved. And they will put their tuppence in and they will be over helpful. And you just need to tread carefully on where that intention of that help lies. For some people, it's because they're chasing significance and they want to feel like they're helping, and it's about making themselves feel good because, and I'm one of them, making people feel good makes us feel good. So I am a helper. I'm the girl at the PTA who doesn't sit on her hands. Oh, I'll help. And you're like, nah, I'm too overcommitted. But because I love helping to a point where I end up compromising myself. So when you do make it public, or when you are saying to people, oh, what do you think? If you are going to be willing to compromise on what people think because you value their opinion, and if they say something that is the opposite of what you wanted, you've invited that conversation. So that conversation needs to happen. It can't just be you quietly nodding and going, oh, right, okay, and underneath thinking, oh, no. You've invited that conversation. So still remember the power lies with you. Don't feel helpless in the fact that someone's given you your opinion. I'm on quite a few sort of wedding Facebook groups, and there are so many brides going, oh my goodness, my mother-in-law has said this, or I brought my mum to try on my dress and she hates it, but I love it. What do I do? It's one of those things that before you open the conversation up to everybody, decide in your soul what your motivation is for sharing that information and opening up that relationship for people's opinion. If it's to share joy, because all that you're doing makes you happy, then stick with the stuff that makes you happy, because happiness and joy is contagious. It might mean you get bumps, but if you know in your heart, which means spending 5 minutes of your day or a pause every time you make a decision about your ceremony, does this bring me joy? Does this make me happy? Is this going to feel warm? And if it is, keep going. Find out what you like, what makes you happy, and do more of it, because it will pay off, because joy brings joy. And if come your wedding day, you're standing up there just beaming, whatever politics has gone on, they will think, oh my God, it's totally worth it. Like, what a journey. And oh my God, we had some fights and can't believe she did that. But credit to her, it's paid off. It's win-win. You get what you feel joyous in your soul for, and you stick to your guns and you stay true, and the people that may have had a bump will see that it's paid off. And that's what comes down to trust. If there are arguments to be had, if there are disagreements brewing, it's about the integrity of your choice in the first place, of your own truth. If you don't know and it's so hard, it's really easy for me to say, know what you want and do more of it. It took me forever to realise what I wanted. And still now people say, what do you want in the next 5 years? You're like, oh, I don't know, not to be dead, not to be ill. You're like, oh, hang on. So therefore, I want to be healthy. I want to be lively. Like, okay, so that means maybe don't eat peanut butter on toast at 8 o'clock at night. Maybe that's not the thing to do. Hmm. I got distracted by peanut butter now. Anyway, so that thought of what am I willing to compromise on, and why am I opening up for a relationship with whoever it is that I'm telling, having that pause for thought will carry you through all those big life decisions. And I see those big life decisions. I see people, from all birth, death, marriages, all of it. Yeah. So they have, hello, Vineyard. For example, if you're pregnant and you go for a scan, you're going for the scan to find out information that you then have to make decisions on. And if you don't think about that relationship ahead of it happening, if that scan shows you something that you're like, oh, no. But you've told everyone, oh, we're off for a scan and this is happening. No, you've then got to have a relationship with the results. And some people, for me, for example, I told people because I wanted to have the support if the results were not what we were thinking they were going to be. And I thought, I don't want to go through it on my own. So my compromise was what was going on with my body and my privacy. I didn't keep private because I wanted to have a support network should it go wrong. Other people would not tell people because if it had gone wrong or did go wrong, they could then deal with it privately. And that is still about compromise. What are you willing to share? If you're willing to share it, then you've put it out there and there is going to be a relationship. And if you haven't put it out there because it's joyous or it's your inner truth, at some point it's going to get bumpy and bite you. So the big things like baby scans to little things like what pudding to choose, weirdly gets the same level of reactions from people. And because I'm a celebrant of all of it, I see genuinely the reaction that you get from a couple deciding on that sort of cake from, I know, their cousin, is just a bigger reaction from someone who's having a funeral in a slightly different way to what the family were expecting. Because the feeling is love. And love and faith in love, there's nothing more personal than faith. What is it you believe in? Do you believe in yourself? Do you believe in self-trust? Do you believe in something bigger? Do you believe that whatever happens, it will all come out in the wash? Whatever is your faith is what will see you through. And if you haven't got faith in whatever it is that you see the truth, it will get bumpy. I'm not going to say it's not going to get bumpy anyway, but it's so much easier if you have a deeper truth of your own faith in whatever it is that is your truth. That sounded quite complicated, but the concept is quite simple. I would generally say know your truth before you put it out there for people to put their opinions in. Or when you do put it out there with I'm not 100% on board with this yet. I'm exploring the idea of, and then they know. But the journey is, at the end of the day, I want to share joy because we're inviting you to our wedding. Or at the end of the day, we're inviting you to this funeral because we really believe it's a rite of passage and there will be love in the room that's supportive and we start this journey of grief together. Or it might be, we're inviting you because we're parents, we're super happy, we just want to share in that joy. So it's about your own integrity. And if you don't have that integrity, then compromise becomes really, really hard. So there you go. There's my pause for thoughts. So lots of love. Take care. If you do need to compromise, that's fine. Some people are like, nope, all for one and one for all, and we go in for it, in for penny, in for pounds. There's all those sayings, but essentially, if you know what it is that is your truth, then on the negative side, you're battle ready to fight whatever bumps come. Then on the positive side, you won't lose any sleep over it because you know what you're about, you know your inner truth, and it will all be okay. And I witnessed it all, and I'm there for you. And I've got lots of experience, also very trained in conflict management. Should you go, could you speak to my mother-in-law about that one? Here's the number. Hello. I'd rather not, but I have done in the past. Anyway, lots of love. Take care. Bye.